Hey Aries, what's going on? I'm seeing you taking more initiative, or there can be something where you're like, I'm not holding myself back, I'm just gonna let myself go for it. This can be something that you've been wanting to do that you can now be allowing yourself to pursue. Whatever it is, I feel like you're gonna be taking a more active approach. You either like just started to, or you're about to start to, and I see there being some like ambition that's tied to this as well. We're starting off with Seven of Pentacles. The noise is going to die down for those of you that it's like picking up on the camera. I don't know if you can actually hear it or not, but whatever it is, it will be over soon. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing you working towards having Seven of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is like this goal that you have of where you're trying to get to. Seven of Pentacles is all of the stuff that you're doing right now that's going to build to you getting to that point. But I am seeing Eight of Swords, so maybe there's something going on where, I mean, with this energy, I feel like you're really doing everything that you can be, that you're showing up and you're doing what you need to, you're investing. It just feels like things don't happen automatically, so you have to give it time for things to build into what it is that you're building, because you're building something big right now within your life. Having Eight of Swords can be when you start getting worried, when you're like, is this really gonna work? Or is like this thing over here gonna be a problem and it's like resolved by tomorrow? But you can just have some stuff going on where you're like getting worried about things, or you're like wondering if it's all gonna pay off, or like if this is really gonna work. It can be that type of time right now. Just be like second guessing yourself a little bit. Maybe feel a little tired too. I think you trusting yourself when it comes to what you're doing is like maybe the most challenging part here. I'm seeing the Fool on the bottom of the deck. So either you're in the midst of some like new process, or that's the direction that you are moving in. I think that it can be feeling a little bit hard to totally fully connect with yourself right now. Like listen to yourself, trust yourself. There's something about that, because I get this like your higher self coming through and like wanting to make contact with you, but for some reason it can be really difficult to kind of like get online with that part of yourself right now. Why would that be? Okay. I get it like this. Your higher self has called you and left you voicemails that you haven't listened to yet. The reason why is because you have to like do some stuff before you can listen to the voicemails. What you have to do, I'm seeing World and I'm seeing Five of Swords. There can be something you feel like you're not finished with yet, and that's why you're not tuning into this. And this feels like something in 3D that you're working on right now, where you're like, I have to focus on this, but you can feel like you're not fully connected with this part of yourself that really does have something to say here. But I just get this like, one, you can feel like you're not finished, but where this can be coming from is, yeah, I get this feeling of like unfinished business here with this. Because maybe you want to be sort of like in control of this situation and like the terms and what's going on here. Having the Fool come out when the High Priestess is there, you may be being called to hop into something else, but you can feel like not open to that suggestion from you to you. There can be this part of you that's like, I know that that's an option, that I could go in that direction. And I think there's this part of you that does want that clean slate. And beyond that, wants to like have a new adventure within your life. But I'm seeing whatever this is that you've had going on, you can feel like you're not finished with that yet. And so you can be like, I'm hearing this side of things, I'm hearing that side of things, I feel like I'm not finished with this. But it feels almost like you can be neglecting what part of yourself is communicating with you because you don't want to be finished with this. Because I see you as like actually having the option to bump over to the next thing. But I kind of get it like a plate that you want to keep spinning. In a way, I almost feel like, why can't you just keep doing this thing that you're doing? But I feel, interesting. You know what this feels like to me? I feel like you graduated and you're meant to go to the next classroom, but you're still staying in that one. And even though you're meant to go to the next one, it feels like you don't want to start the next chapter. But I get this feeling too of like things feel unresolved and I don't want to leave it on that note. It's like maybe you got handed your diploma and you're like, I feel like I didn't do the right work in order to really be getting that here, even though it feels like energetically you did. But in your head, you can feel differently about that. Because maybe you're like, I'm still setting out to accomplish this thing, and even though it seems like the energy is bringing you in the next direction, you may be like, well, I'm not done with this. In certain ways, energetically, you actually can be, but there can be something going on with your ego where you're like, I don't want to be finished yet, which is fine. You don't need to finish anything sooner than you want. I feel a little bit with the energy, like, I feel like there's a little bit of an agenda here within the energy, like your higher self being like, can you just get on the phone with me to communicate this with you? But I see you're like not really listening a little bit here because you're consumed in whatever this is that you've had going on. And it's like when the play date is over and your parent is like, come on, we gotta go home. I'm seeing your higher self be like pulling you over to the next thing that you're doing. And you're like, no, I don't want to get out of the water. It's just whatever this situation is for you. I'm getting like, you don't want to be finished with it. But you know, your higher self is like the wise extension of you that knows like where you're supposed to be. And so I feel like it's this part of you that's coming through and being like, well, can you just listen to me? We need to go over there. But I get it, like, it's kind of easy to ignore this. Seeing Leo and I'm seeing the moon. And I'm also seeing Virgo. Okay, so you've kind of been in thought. There's a period of review that you're doing right now with something that you have going on. I'm seeing you taking a moment to reflect on this. I'm seeing a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of focus that's been being put into this thing that you have going on. And then I'm seeing there be a stepping back to evaluate, but something feels really, really challenging to discern about this. It feels like this is a really in-depth analysis that has to be done more than a regular one. Like usually going into hermit mode, it feels like you're there for a little bit and then you find the answers that you need and then you can come out. This feels much more extensive to me. So do you feel like you have something going on that needs an extensive reflection? Rather than just doing something and being like, I'm automatically doing this, I'm not thinking too much about it. This feels like you need to pause and you need to take a closer look at this. Because there are answers that you need to find, but it feels like they're buried underneath, and so you have to kind of go digging for them here. But your higher self is like, I put the answer down there, but I need you to dig for it. This is like deep in the recesses of your mind over here. Like it's available, it's just a matter of you finding it, and it has to do with this thing that you have going on. I get like whatever this is that you've had going on, it has not been feeling easy, but there's like something that you don't know in the front of your brain about this. I don't know what the answer is. I see an unread message, but I don't get what the message is. I see this thing that you are currently putting your energy into. I'm seeing there be a place of analysis, of looking into this for some reason. I'm seeing it be difficult to shed light on what light needs to be shed on. It's like complicated, complex, it's in depth. So it's, for some reason, in a very extensive process for you to look at this and analyze, which means that it may feel like a whole project for you to find the answers that you need to find about this. To the point where it can be feeling somewhat exhausting even, and then ending with this point of autonomy and independence. Are you investing in that? Is what you're investing in coming out to a place where you are enjoying whatever that is being produced by that? Is there something here where you really need to listen to yourself and you're having a hard time doing that? Is there something going on within your heart that there is a message there that you've left unread? Because it does seem like in many ways there's a new chapter that's beginning for you. I'm seeing this starting to unfold. And it's one where you're meant to be more so in touch with yourself. Ending with King of Swords, analysis, thinking about things, communicating, taking action based off of what we are assessing. Sometimes we have to call something out, sometimes a choice needs to be made, but it's about wielding the truth and moving with that clarity. I wonder too if part of this is about investing in the things that allow you to enjoy your life, having strength be connected to it. This feels like you have to invest in your heart, in the things that your heart is saying, these are the things that are important and I need this from you. And that's what allows you to build what you need to build. For some of you, there can be something related to like family or finances or resources that's connected with this. Okay. So whatever this is that you've had going on that you may be wanting to get answers about, this has to do with a current investment that you have within your life that you are not feeling right now. Not feeling this, not feeling good about this. And can be like downright either feeling tired, you can feel unstimulated by it, you can just be feeling kind of like disengaged a little bit from this. Maybe that's giving you answers about what's really most important to you at the end of the day, which I think is still not totally figured out, because where you are now with yourself and what's really most valuable and important to you, I feel like there are answers about that you, it's like it's there, but I feel like it hasn't totally been unveiled yet. About what really matters to you. Meaning, you may automatically be doing something thinking that that's what matters most to you, but then in inspecting it, in taking a closer look, there may be something different. You may have a different perspective of things, and you may be like lumping certain things in together that don't all need to be there, which can also have you showing up and doing things and putting your energy into stuff that you don't need to be putting your energy into. Kind of like you could be happy without that. There can be something like this that's going on here where you're like, it's like if certain things were removed and you felt happy, like why do you need to have those extra things added in here? This feels like it's about stripping things down to the essence of like what that answer really is for you. It's like if we could move into the simple life of what you would genuinely feel content with without all the extra stuff that we like think makes us happy, and then if it's taken away we wouldn't even miss it for a moment. I feel like you're going through some process like that right now, where you can like have all of this stuff around you, or you have certain things going on within your life right now, and you can feel like I need all of these things, but having hermit there feels like if you were to like go through everything, that may not still stand as being your perspective anymore. And it feels like little by little there are things that are getting stripped away. But there can also be some resistance to this too. For some of you, this has to do with stuff that's going on within your relationships. That can be a place where you're seeing this happening. Where before it may have been like, I need to be connected with everybody and we all need to be on the same page with one another and all very much involved. There can be something where like certain relationships are kind of falling away now. But again, the way that I'm seeing this, there can be some resistance to that. And I think too, when Saturn is involved, it can feel kind of like we're being picked on a little bit. Like, why is this so hard for me? And really, it's that unnecessary things are being removed. And we can convince ourselves we need those things and we're not going to feel happy without those things. And then it's like a week or two go by and you're like, I don't really feel that different. And it's because like you felt like that was important, but the reality of that actually wasn't. But there's something like this that's going on right now for you. But I think this process of you like getting in touch with yourself, the version of yourself that has the answers to these things, that's what's taking time. Because I really do get this sense like especially if for a long time you've been telling yourself that XYZ is like the most important thing to you, and that may not be necessarily the reality any longer, but you're so used to thinking that we don't even like question that anymore. And then those things get removed and it's like, oh, everything feels all right. And it's like, how does that happen then? And it feels like finding, like going in there and doing that. Like there's something here that's kind of being unpacked. But until we get to that moment, we cannot feel trusting of what's going on. If you happen to be doing something right now and there is a little part of you that feels like it's unfair, or you feel a little bit resentful, or you have something going on where you're like, I'm showing up and I'm taking these steps, but that's not sitting well with you because you think something is out of balance, even if you just feel it on the emotional front, it feels like it has to do with something like that. Meaning, you can be showing up somewhere and telling yourself that you're okay with it, but you like have this little feeling within you, or these feelings sometimes where you feel a little bit angry, or you feel a little bit this, or you feel a little bit that, which is telling you that you actually like kind of feel in conflict about it, because your innate understanding of what is balanced and what is fair, it's not totally being honored in this situation. And that's why you're feeling the way that you're feeling about these certain things that you have going on. But you can be like showing up anyway and still contributing anyway. But there's this feeling within you of like, this can even be like the other person is benefiting and I may be benefiting a little bit, but there is like a huge difference. It can be that. Or it can be these little thoughts in your head, like you do something and it's like you look at the other person and you're like, I don't know that you deserve this. You know, it's like these types of things. And it's not like you're bad for thinking that, you know, it feels like little ways that you've been showing up that like may not be fair, and you may not totally be honoring that, and then you're like, why am I not happy-go-lucky about continuing to invest in this? And it's because there are, and I don't feel like this is in a big way, I feel like these are little ways that add up, where you're doing something nice, where like if it were with somebody that you felt like there was equality within the dynamic, you would happily be doing those things, but it's with somebody that you can feel like you're getting gypped in some way. And I don't know if you're totally admitting this to yourself, but it can be coming out in certain thoughts and feelings that you're having, but then you like may not be like understanding the deeper message of what that's communicating with you, you know. And it can even have you feeling like why am I not being like so loving? I'm usually like open-hearted or generous or whatever. What you're gonna find is that when it's with the right people in the right situations, it's very easy to be generous. But when you are not feeling valued, and there is, and I get this again, it's not in a huge way. This feels like little situations where it's like unfair by a little bit, but it just happened in that situation, and then it like happens again, and then it happens again, and it's like it starts adding up, where when you look at the whole thing, there is like a very big imbalance. But because it only happens like a little bit at a time, it feels like almost like non-significant until you zoom out and look at the bigger picture and see that it's always tilted. And I think that's going to add up and make sense as to why you've been feeling the way that you've been feeling about participating and what your heart has really been communicating with you about this all. And now can be the time where you're getting the overview to actually see that and to recognize that. But I think that it's been hard for you to put your finger on, because it's like, I don't think you were keeping score. I don't think you were keeping count. I think you were just like, it wasn't big enough in each situation to really like flag your attention. And now you're like, why am I feeling this way? And when you look at the bigger picture, that's what's going on with this. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.